All right, hello, everybody. Yo, how's it going, everybody? Hello.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, well, let's get started. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Justin,
Mark.
and you're watching and are listening to episode 475 of DangIT Prodcast. Welcome back, everybody. Mark, how have you been?
I've been alright. How you been?
Uh, I've been better for sure. um, I'll definitely get into my bits here, but I wanted to catch up with you, Mark. What's been going on this past week for you, and I guess also the week before too.
Nothing too much. Just been dealing with some flare-ups with my condition, but other than that, everything's been fine.
Oh, good to hear. Let me go ahead and raise the volume over here for you. But I got you. It's been okay over here as well. I feel like there was a little bit more. I guess when you look down into like a lot of the stuff that occurred like this past week, it was also kind of the same with last week as well. Um, but yeah, no. Currently, I'm just kind of going through the pangs and throes of that booster shot, the one that just got updated this month. I took the shot because it's anticipation for TwitchCon next month. So I just wanted to make sure I was ready for anything, really. I think Naya is going to be just, he's going to just be packing masks instead. You know,
Side effects hitting you real hard.
the side effects are hitting me in just like the headache area. Um, it's just like looking at screens a little bit, getting like those pains, like just like maybe center of the forehead to my ears. But yeah, we're doing okay. It was still like the best sleep I had in the past like couple of days though, because I finally well, I guess it's kind of separate, but I also had to deal with a lot of mosquito bites this past week. It's funny because it's like it's the shift to fall season, and I'm just getting bitten up immediately. So, but the problem is that I don't know if there's any patterns to that from last year because I also had a similar case, but I just don't know when that happened. So, if it's a habit that like, if things just tend to like fly into the house a little bit more, like as the summer heat like dies down and gets a little cooler, then I could probably anticipate that and take retroactive stuff like wearing layered clothing and not being so exposed all the time.
That'll
So,
definitely help.
yeah, that's why I'm kind of wearing long sleeves right now. But yeah, no, it was pretty bad this past week. But after getting the booster shot, I just checked with the person administering it. What would they recommend as far as like particular like ways to just remedy the itchiness because that's one of my main problems. And they were saying, oh, just cortisone and like Benadryl. And we got some over here. I was like, cool. Do we have that in the house? And apparently we do. I was like, oh, I missed out on this. But I feel much better like after the night's sleep. Now I'm just dealing with like the booster shot side effects now. But yeah, no, it was one of those things where it's like I could do solo podcasting, but like if it was just me, for this one particularly, I don't think I could really like pull through even for like an hour. But that wasn't the only thing that happened this past week. There was a couple things that showed up like earlier in the week. There's a whole thing with like Netflix, for example. Netflix just had like a bunch of like no, I think what's happening is that Netflix has been talking to Capcom for a little bit because I think the prior week they announced like Onimusha, and now like this past week they announced like Devil May Cry. I was like, what?
Yeah, no one saw that one coming.
Yeah, no. They also showed off like The Legend of Tomb Raider. It's not really Capcom, but that's still like a video game franchise. So it's like, whoa, they're really dabbling into that kind of stuff. So I'm curious because like Tomb Raider's had like a bunch of remakes here and there. Well, I say a lot of them, but I think in this case it's like two or three. But yeah, that's very interesting how they decided to go with that approach. I think it's for the best. I think it's just another avenue just to appeal to like an existing audience that they maybe not tapped into before. But that's crazy. Hopefully they end up being really good. The Onimusha specifically because I think the last time we had like some cool like animated like samurai s type of show, it was like Yasuke, and that had a really cool premise, and then it like fell flat like within the next like
Uh,
good
from what
number
I've
of
heard,
episodes.
very flat.
Yeah, yeah, like you end up just kind of like being part of that ride, but a lot of it doesn't kind of make sense because there was one point like at the end of like one of the episodes for Yasuke, he delivers the girl and he's supposed to leave. But then the next episode, he's just there. And you're like, wait, what happened? And they give you a
Like a
flashback, like,
twin.
This wasn't introduced in the previous episode, but we're telling you right now, he overheard something and had to like come back, but it was only addressed in a flashback after the fact he showed an appearance. So it was like, that's really confusing. Whatever. He's cool, so whatever. But yeah, hopefully those adaptations will go really well, and they will probably come out soon. Um, Also, I think this is kind of like separate from things, but like, Meta and like their Quest series. But they announced like Meta Quest 3, and the reason I bring it up is mainly for the fact that one, they have this collaboration with Ray-Bans to pretty much come up with what was Google Glass, but just in Ray-Ban form. So they have like a little tiny lens. It's a little bit more subtle than Google Glass was, but I think it's interesting in the sense that it is a camera that you can like put like for your first person view, and you can actually like live stream there. But what particularly like kind of drew it into like our like line of like content creation, which is like gaming specific, is that they actually have cloud gaming showing up there. So it's pretty much just AR like glasses just popping up a screen as you just play whatever game that you want like through the cloud. So interesting
That's
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, I have a like a separate set of like AR glasses, and that's still like a really neat idea. The only problem for me is that like I'm always like trying to create stuff, and whenever I like play something like in my bed, I like knock out.
Too cozy.
Yeah, it's way too cozy. I try to focus in like 15 minutes in, and I'm like, oh, why am I feeling so? Whoa, hold on, let's take the glasses off. Yeah, no. Otherwise, that is a really interesting bit of tech, and definitely spreads out the whole idea of like cloud gaming on Xbox side. So interesting to see where that's taking it. Um, and I think relatively this week has been pretty slow on my end as far as like work stuff. I did request this past Thursday off because TwitchCon. Just want to make sure I don't cap out on hours and waste anything for that. But
Right.
yeah, no, I had to take care of some other stuff as well on Thursday, as well as Friday. Friday was really just like the booster shot, but yeah, I don't think there was anything happening on that Thursday. Friday was definitely like the crazy one because that was like the release of like Kirby and the Amazing Mirror on NSO. Phil said it right. That's actually a Metroidvania game for like in Kirby form, and I never even thought about that. But yeah, you pretty much go back and forth and retrace steps to unlock other things to like give you access to like the final level. But that came out. I haven't gotten a chance to try it. I'm not sure if Phil's been able to try it, but I saw someone's experience trying to do like 4-player co-op. I'm pretty sure they were all in different locations, but apparently the performance isn't like that great on that front. But it's still an option. Sonic DLC, Sonic Frontier specifically, they got free DLC for additional story quests with playable characters. I saw that they brought in some old classic stuff. Like Tails will have like this maneuver where he'll just jump into like that walker that he has in Adventure 2, and I was like, I'm sold on that. But then people have been complaining about like how hard it is to do some platforming stuff. Like, ascend the tower. It's pretty much only up in Sonic form.
Only
And
up, but it's Sonic instead.
like max ups. But people have been complaining about that here and there about like the difficulty there. But that's cool. I think I would love to do the DLC for Sonic, maybe like on the 1 year of its like release. So that's somewhere in like November. And F-Zero 99 got some new courses added in there. Phil was complaining about that actually. Wish that
He was
he had
complaining.
more courses, but now they do. So really cool. Still haven't really been able to try that either, but he's definitely jumped in on that. And the thing that mattered to me like the most this like past week was definitely like this Van Gogh museum like collaboration with Pokemon. I'm not sure if you picked up any win on that one, but essentially it's just like illustrations of like Pikachu, Eevee, Snorlax, Corviknight, probably some other works as well. I think Smeargle's there too, and they were just selling a bunch of like
Chase Virgo seems like the most like obvious one who should be there.
yeah, right. They were selling like paintings that they like were, I guess they were hanging that up for like Van Gogh Museum for like limited time. They also had merchandise over there in Amsterdam for it. And most of the news outlets you'll hear, or yeah, most of the news that you'll hear about is just how crowded it was, both at the museum and also online too. I was oh sorry, I'm getting nasally. Part of the effects. But it was chaotic that Friday morning. I was they were pretty much supposed to go live like on Thursday, then they were taken down for a little bit, and now we kind of understand. There was a huge flux of people like funneling through the website. People were just having the hardest time just getting even like a single like thing of work, because one of the benefits buying any like Van Gogh like collaboration item was that it would well, specifically on the website, I'm not sure about like on site, was that it would give you like a free promo card of just Pikachu like drawn in that type of like inspiration. He had like this, what was it, a gray feathered hat. He looked very distinct. He's a distinct gentleman, but it was also kind of funny too. But you would get a promo card for each item that you would buy. So if you bought like a mug or like the art set and like a collective pin set, you get like technically three. So people were like grabbing onto that as much as they could, and I think it's fair to say that a number of them were scalpers. People were just trying to grab these items and then resell them to the third market like at a higher price than what it was initially set to, which sucks. Apparently, my cousin was able to get something, so that's good. But I did not have any chance in there. And apparently a fair number of people have, and they definitely complained about it. Pokemon actually sent out something on Twitter/X about like them apologizing that, you know, a lot of people weren't able to get this kind of stuff, so they're going to be releasing like a whole bunch of stock like later. I think it's been slated for like October, but it's still really unfortunate, and people have just been expressing their complaints about that. So, hence the title for the podcast, Scalpers Can Kick Rocks. So the only unfortunate bit is that like they do have, I mean, they may not even have it now, but they are entitled to those goods, and they're just going to try to sell them. And the idea is that like we don't really want to condone that, so we shouldn't buy that kind of stuff either, so that their warehouse, like, or I guess their, you know, their stock will just kind of sit there perpetually until they can just get rid of it, which is still a loss on both sides. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's just really unfortunate. It's not just me. It also wasn't just like Van Gogh, but it was also back when McDonald's, I think they may have did it this past year, when they were just giving out like cards like through the Happy Meals, and people would just like buy mass amounts of it. Um, I couldn't tell you if that's really linked to like other influencers just kind of like pushing that forward. Like, I'm not sure if it was Jake or Logan Paul. I think it was Logan Paul, where he bought like a lot of those. But people have also like pointed that as like part of the problem. So, which is funny because I don't think I'm not any better, because I would have just, I mean, I wouldn't scalp, but I would just like still want like participate in that too. I don't think that anyone's wrong with just wanting like a piece just for the promo card, but as long as it's just like the one, then you know it's fine. Bad like buying a mass amount, maybe, just maybe. But that's my initial thoughts on that, and I wow, I just kind of spit through like a lot of my like highlights. Um, I think you know, the game, just to kind of shift over the topic. My Hero Rumble, was is that the actual title for it, Mark?
My Hero Ultra Rumble.
Ultra Rumble. Did that come out? This came out this past week, right? It was probably like on Wednesday or
Correct.
Thursday or
It
Tuesday.
was on the 28th.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. So that's a new game. That's a whole battle royale where you just play like, what was it, in teams, each having their own like specific types.
Yep,
So
teams of three.
yeah, and then like within those types, like there's some technical ones that like are very unique to those characters. Interesting, but yeah, I haven't. I've been wanting to like do like a bit like of a recording session with you with that, but I just had not had the time these past couple of days to do it.
Oh no, I got you.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see if we can play that out. I think that just kind of works best with the whole fact that we covered the manga. So I think that would just be really good. But it's still free. So I mean, if anyone's like curious about that, I don't know if it does crossplay, but it's free anyway. So as long as you have friends with like mutual console/PC, then I think you'll be all right. I don't think
Actually,
it's
it
on
does
Switch
cost you
though.
nothing.
Yeah, that's
No,
fair.
it actually is on Switch.
Is this? Wow. Oh, okay. All right, all right. That's fair. I like what they're doing with that. There's probably like a video about like the performance stuff going on with that one. it seems pretty like well polished too, and there's probably a lot of stuff going on. So I wonder about like the performance on Switch, but I can always check out a video for that one. Um, Anything else that's been going on, Mark? I don't know if there's any other gaming news, so we can actually.
They showed off more of Final Fantasy VII, didn't they?
You know what? I like my stuff like is kind of bleed into like the previous week where they were showing a lot of that at their TGS. So I don't know if there was anything else that they showed off. I've been seeing a lot of like clips and footage though, so that might have been like something that's been going on this past like week as well. It's shaping up to be really good. Like it's one of those things where they've been working on this for a long time, even prior to any type of news dropping for Rebirth. And according to like Maximilian Dude, like the demo at TGS that they played was already ready for like quite a while. So they've already like gotten to that point in the development, and that's why they're able to release it in February. Lord, February.
So it's already pretty much very. It's probably honestly you probably could just release it now, but they probably want to polish it a little more.
Yeah, I kind of appreciate the fact that like a lot of this time period is just gonna be taken up with just polishing the game, because you really do see that, especially with the shift from like I guess the closed corridors, kind of the more linear progression in like Seven Remake, and they're now flushing out to be like a big open world that's nearly like seamless. So it's just crazy that they. I mean, I never played the OG, but it looks like they really went above and beyond as far as what the OG came with. So I think it'll be like the strongest title that like they have, and I think people will like see that comparison between like like not remake, seven Rebirth and Final Fantasy 16 actually, where that was a little bit more kind of open areas, but not necessarily like a whole open world bit. I still liked the game though, so that's still really good. And if I understand correctly, I'm not sure if it was which Final Fantasy it was, but one of them's getting developed on PC. I'm pretty sure it's 16.
It is 16, I believe,
Nice, nice.
and I'm sure Rebirth will probably be there as well at some point.
Yeah. Actually, I'm really curious because I could have sworn I saw something in one of the more recent like trailers that alluded to it just being like the console exclusivity, but it may not last as long as you think you wouldn't. But I could be wrong. I'm kind of keeping an open mind about that. Like the idea that Rebirth. I'm trying to remember exactly. I think Phil may have brought it up that like there's a possibility that like we'll have that opportunity to play remake on like a different platform, because of this I guess this dual like release type of thing where on this deal you could buy Rebirth and you'll be able to like play through remake as well, like from like a whole single purchase. So that might be I mean, I'm just gonna put that out there, but like that might be an Xbox maneuver or something that just helps Xbox on that side where it's like, oh well, remake just comes with it, so great.
Hmm.
But yeah, we'll see. Ooh, it's been getting really warm in here because of the jacket, but I'm like, nope. It's I already said before, but it was one of the reasons why I'm wearing all the long sleeve stuff just because I'm so paranoid about getting bitten again. I was streaming the other day and I just felt like bumps on my arm. I was like, what's happening, dude?
You're being attacked.
Yeah, no. Gotta like probably like bug proof this entire room again. No, I think it's pretty well contained now. I have actually Nai's going through the same situation where he has like a bunch of fruit flies like in the garage because it's a naturally humid area close to the outside. And we recommended like
It was nice.
this what was it, this catching device. Pretty much it just like shoots UVs. It's not really that harmful, but it just attracts like flies and they just get sucked up and they hit this like adhesive like at the very bottom where they get funneled through, and they'll just kind of stay there and then they'll
And
die.
as you say, he said it's not really harmful. I was like, oh no, it's harmful.
Don't worry. Just don't. You know what? Just don't be that close to it while it's running. It attracts them and does its job, and it's had great effect when the first time I used it, but it's not really picking up anything these days. So I was like, oh, maybe the buggers are like way out there. so may have to set it up in separate rooms. But yeah, I think wow, we are we're being super efficient on the time here. I still want to kind of go for an hour for sure. Um, let's talk about things in like the manga and the anime like scene. Um, I've definitely been like slacking on both departments, and
There's no shot you haven't seen anything about Kagurabachi.
I've seen a fair bit. People have been memeing the hell out of it because it really looks. I don't want to really say it like as generic like, but people have been saying like, oh, there doesn't seem to be anything particularly different. But because people have been talking about it, it's gained a lot of popularity already.
I've read it. It's not bad.
Hmm. Apparently, the second chapter came out recently too.
Third chapter's out right now in terms of
Oh,
early reading.
okay. Is it categorized as like a shonen?
Yeah, it's a shonen. It's Shonen Jump.
Oh yeah, fair. Is I know the initial chapter obviously needs to be pretty lengthy just to grab an intention that needs, but are they usually like are we kind of picking up like maybe 15, 10 pages worth of chapters each time?
The second chapter was, let me see. Let's look and see here. The second chapter of Kagurabachi was 24 pages. The third chapter is 24 pages.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I am curious about that. I was even thinking about like doing some coverage on that, like content creator wise. Like that could be like the pivoting off point because obviously My Hero, though it's been in the works for like such a long time, we're gonna see that it's kind of near the end of it. I just don't know what my layout's gonna be for like that type of show or any or not show but any works. We attempt One Piece. Fuck. Bro.
That's a big commitment.
Ooh.
I mean, with the thing right now is Jump's still trying to find their next golden goose.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been releasing a lot of new series as well. Maybe not a
Yeah,
lot, but I've seen a couple of new ones just start floating around. Actually, let me just go
they're
and
trying to find their next big money maker.
yeah.
I mean, one of their series is on October 5th. They'll be getting it animated finally, and that's going to be Undead Unluck, and that looks great.
Oh yeah, that was yeah. That we've been seeing that like on the Shonen Jump or slash Viz app for a long time. Whenever I scroll in
Uh,
for like the new releases, like it's one of those that just kind of keeps showing up. So it's
and the animation for the trailer looks fantastic.
oh cool. I actually haven't really been able to see like the trailers for that, but I figured that like for as long as it's been running, figured that we'd get like some kind of adaptation very soon.
Yep, Kaiju number 8's adaptation is coming
Oh, that's
this
true.
year, next year, I believe, 2024.
Okay. Trying to see all the new stuff showing up here. Is actually wait a minute. Is Chainsaw Man still going as
Yeah,
like a manga? That's crazy. I thought it
yeah,
was
it's still going.
I thought it was done.
No, they finished and they picked back up again.
Oh, okay,
It was like
interesting.
they only stopped because they were like it was a magazine thing.
Oh, okay. Because last time I checked, it was obviously like the well, I guess this is like low key kind of spoilers here. I'll just gonna put that tag right out there. But I thought like the premise of it was that Makima was the big bad because of like her particular powers, and you know they resolved it the way they did, and I thought that was gonna be the end of it. But I guess they
You
yeah.
think, but there's more to it.
All right, fair enough. That was good. I thought it was one of those things where like they ended it exactly the way they wanted to, so it's gonna be one of the shorter like bits here and there. But that's good to hear. I know that Jujutsu Kaisen is kind of crazy right now because of just
Kind of
yeah, I mean, yeah, kinda. Dude, I saw it was on TikTok. Um, I won't really
communities in
spoil
shambles
too.
right now.
I won't spoil too much about it, but it was like during a cosplay event, and obviously one of them is Sukuna, and the other one is Satoru, or you know, you would imply that Satoru if you get my drift.
Ay, ay, ay.
It was funny though. I've been actually seeing the voice actor um, for Toji. Actually, obviously he's mainly known for Dio, but I've been seeing a lot of like shorts from his like account where he's hanging out with Gojo's voice actor, and they're just
Eh,
It's so funny because it's almost like it's like them hanging out, and they're just like playing as their role characters.
right.
They're at this convenience store, and Gojo like shows Toji this thing of donuts. He's like, "Daijoubu, this is delicious." And he's like, "Mose, impossible. It can't be." There was a shot. I don't know whether like what their schedule of like hanging out is, but there's just one where they're in the desert, and they point
In
at
the
the sun
desert.
because it's the only thing in the air right now.
Just
And,
the sun.
and you hear Gojo in the back. He's like, "Hollow technique." I was like, "Wait."
Oh no.
Oh man, I love that they embrace that so much.
Right.
But yeah, both the manga for Jujutsu Kaisen and the anime have just kind of lined up in both like I guess severity of the situation. Hence why there's a lot of like discourse going on right now.
Yeah, people are going wild with it right now.
There's Undead Unlock, 176 chapters currently, so that's crazy. I'm also
Oh, yeah, it's
kind
been
of
going for quite a while now.
yeah, I'm kind of anticipating like I've been seeing Witch Watch a couple times. Actually, there's a fair number of these that actually have like multiple chapters in the threes, in 3 digit like category.
A lot of them have been going on for a while. They're probably gonna be getting animes soon enough.
That's good to hear. Let's see. Wait a minute.
Yeah, we got Solo Leveling coming out soon.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's so crazy because I only know it by I haven't like really like read it or anything like that, but it's interesting like how the premise starts up and like I think there's just a big disparity between like what people like know the series for currently and will post about those particular moments and later on in the story. And then, obviously like we're starting from the very beginning. So they're hinting a lot of things. So the main character does not look like the character that's being portrayed online.
Not yet.
Not yet. So I'm like, this is actually kind of cool. So,
He hasn't entered his chat arc yet.
mm, not quite yet. Right now, he just looks like the most like vanilla dude, but that's also fair.
Give him a, give him a little bit.
Yeah, give him time to cook. He's literally gonna get cooked. I'm looking at other stuff. Actually, I'm kind of just. It's so weird. I remember picking up a manga for just a little bit. That's also like through Viz slash like Shonen Jump. It was called Blue Box, and I was there by the time that it actually started
Hey,
up.
I've heard of Blue Box.
I had no idea it would keep going for as long as it has. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah, I was surprised that because Cypher Academy is good, but I was thinking that it might be too much information for some people, but it's actually gotten pretty popular.
Hmm. I don't know. I'll probably need to like possibly catch up on this one. Yeah, because essentially it kind of runs like a shonen, but it's also like romance implied as well. Well, not implied, but romance focus. So
Mm-hmm. Which
that's good.
I mean, Shonen Jump has had those type of series before. I mean, that was
Yeah,
Nisekoi.
yeah. Damn, dude, I'm so saddened by the fact that Nisekoi never like finished its anime proper.
Yeah, the first season was so great.
It was really good. I think it's like the most like aesthetically pleasing that I've seen in any of like the works. Like it still is so unique about like how they portray things. And when you read a little bit further in, I think I pretty much kind of like read up to the end, and the fact that like things just kind of transpire. It's also the same thing with Well, I'll get to that point later. It's another like romance thing,
They
but
released some They released some epilogue pages to commemorate the anniversary.
oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, like they could have kept that one going, but unfortunately, like something like fell through. But yeah, I was gonna say another series that got like an anime adaptation. It was called Yamada Kun and like the Seven Witches. I liked how things kind of transpired in that one because like there's like a bit of like powers stuff like being incorporated into it, and
Hmm.
I think it's maybe I don't know, maybe it's the fact that like things started to get a little bit repetitive or slash stale in the series that they didn't continue it any further. But I don't know, I was drawn by the anime and then just kind of like picked it up a little bit later on. That was another unfortunate bit. Um,
think Laid Back Camp just got confirmed for another season.
Oh my god, dude, yes. They changed the
I knew
studio
you were gonna say.
completely.
I knew you'd be happy. You'd be like, yes.
I was like, cozy vibes because, what was it, season 1 and 2 were like a thing. And then they jumped into the movie, which got like a very like quiet release, like somewhere on like all the distribution like anime sites. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know about this. So I watched it. I loved it. It's pretty much just the movie is pretty much a whole time skip, as like they're all adults and they're just trying to fit in and they're trying to like reconnect and everything like that. And I thought that was gonna be like the end of it. And I was like, you know what? That's a pretty solid, like pretty good ending. And I guess they're just taking us back to like the chronological like timeline. And they got a new studio behind this one, so everyone looks kind of different. It's gonna take a bit of adjusting, but it's ultimately the same characters. So cozy vibes return, and I'm all for it. And I guess that like we had that coming because Yoru Camp is pretty popular over there. So like many merchandise bits. One of them, oh my god, one of them was like the moped actually. And I remember, I think I told you about this, but I think I found out about it like in this like kind of deep dive as like it's the iceberg analysis of the Eurocamp and its significance. And one of them was the moped, and there was this point where like every single like moped owner of that particular model got together and just started riding together. It was like several of them. It was so wild. Not to mention all the advertising placed on it. Yeah, it's a really nice feel good show, and it definitely shows its popularity over there. And I just hope that it just stays alive over here as well. It does make you want to go camping, but specifically during the wintertime because there's less bugs.
True.
Maybe one of these days. We'll see. Yeah. Oh, also, actually, I'm not sure if it came out like this past week, but it was Boruto. Actually, I've been kind of keeping up with it. It's pretty easy to catch up. Like as far as like that time skip, there's only 2 chapters. Yeah, they ended up on like a cliffhanger as far as like Boruto's new Rasengan technique. So I'm just really curious as to like what does that mean?
Everyone likes his new design, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, like as far as the anime itself, they've definitely kept producing like more and more episodes. You kind of wish that they did that for discontinued works, but they kept putting out a lot of filler episodes just to like buy time for like the chronological events to happen. And I mean, finally, they're moving on to that one, but I have no idea like where Boruto is like anime wise. But it's interesting though because they introduced a lot of like side off characters, anime only ones. I don't know where they ended up, but they'll probably have to make use of them. But
at some point.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to remember exactly where they left off. I remember that they definitely had the bit where like Code infiltrated like the Leaf Village, anime specifically. Boruto and Kwaki were like under house arrest. They sneak out and they have like a fight with Code at the end. Boruto almost dies. Naruto is very limited in his powers, and I think that's where I left off with it. I don't know if they caught up with the sequence of events where like Naruto gets like sealed away as well as Hinata and everything. Possible spoilers. Possible. But now, like, fast forward, major spoilers at this point. It's been like a couple years. For some reason, Code has been like biding his time for a while, and now decides to force Boruto's hand to show up, and Boruto shows up just like that. I'm really curious as to see where Sasuke is amongst all this. Hopefully, not in the worst case scenario as far as where he's at, but
I'm sure he's still alive.
Yeah, knowing him, but Boruto has his passed down clothes, so I'm really curious about that. But yeah, that's wild. The fact that Sasuke put all of his fate into Sarada, despite what his truth reveals to him, and he decides to train with this seemingly stranger of somebody, and just trains him. Well, we're seeing the results of that training. So
I think that might have something to do with being an Uchiha.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the fact that even now we don't really know exactly why, but Sarda and what was it? The class president, obviously she's not a class president anymore, but like her character, they're the only ones I know, like for sure. Aside from the Otsutsuki's, like they're pretty well much aware of that, and as well as Kaki. But I don't know, like I don't know exactly how they're gonna explain that, but it's
It only
definitely
it affected everyone in Konoha Village, as far as we know. We don't know if it affected the rest of the world.
this is true. Yeah, like if it impacts everyone on a grand scale, the whole world, then that's like super broken. But if it does, that'd be interesting of a conflict. Like as far as like, okay, well, that's Kaoki. That was the outsider. This is Boruto. What's going on? And I like the
They're
idea
like,
that
what is happening?
it's like, well, bro, what side are you guys on? Like, what are you thinking like this versus that? But we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. There's so many questions. I'm still on about like this Rasengan, Uts something, Uts something. What else is there? You know, I heard about this. Was it Blue Exorcist? Yeah, they.
Oh, yeah, that was getting continuation.
Yeah, I have no
The
idea what's going
anime.
on in that one, but it's certainly
Yeah,
something I
I
need
don't
to.
look. Yeah, I'm not. I don't follow the series personally.
I feel like I should. Like, I think it starts from the roots, but then I think it really like branches out like Bleach does. Granted, like that's my perspective. Like it's Bleach like starts off from like a pretty understandable like concept, and then it like goes out.
It's not too hard to understand.
I'm sure this is gonna take a while. Like it's not as intimidating as One Piece as far as like diving in on that one, but there's definitely a
I
couple
don't
of
know.
points
It's
here and
not
there.
even half the size One Piece is.
And I'm half the size, but there's still, regardless, quite a lot of stuff that does go on for sure on that show. But good to know that what Bleach is still going as an anime. So
And it's been very good.
man, dude, I just scrolled onto it and like I can't believe we. It's been like quite a while since we had like that one spinoff for Naruto featuring Minato. That was such a good one. I was like, man, dude, bring me him.
Oh, yeah, because he won the character contest. He got a really good spin-off.
hmm You know, if it wasn't Minato, who would you think, or what would you want even for a character spinoff over there?
I mean, I would have chosen Minato.
Fair. I think.
From what I know from what I've known from Naruto, Minato seems really fucking cool.
Yeah, that's also true. I was trying to think like who else would I even like want as like
I mean,
I think
the top two characters I believe in the contest were Minato and in Itachi.
yeah I was thinking Itachi, but I was like wait, Itachi gets quite a lot of like representation. Maybe not in the greatest light because like his childhood is kind of tragic.
Some people were asking for like one of the other like less represented Uchihas, I believe.
Oh yeah, I think Shisui's one of them. That's Itachi's
I
best
think so.
bro over there. That's also very tragic. But yeah, I
The
think
Uchihas never get a break.
yeah, dude. I mean, you look at the second, and you're like, oh, I understand now. Damn, dude.
Ah,
We live in a society, and you
we
really
live
push it
in.
through. Like, listen, we got some bad beef. If we're gonna have to like work together, you're gonna have to be segmented off, and you're gonna have to be considered outcasts, like even within the village. So we're putting you on to the police force to further execute this like negative vibe that everyone has on you, without actually overtly saying that.
So we need you to just, murk your entire clan,
Yeah,
and
unfortunately,
we'll spare your brother.
man, dude, that is Itachi was. I guess it makes sense because Itachi has always had like that mindset, always seeing things from the outside, always putting the village first. That's why the third trusted him with like that plan. We know that they're up to something, but we can't overtly do that because it's going to cause like further damage for the entire village. We want you to shoulder everything. We want you to slaughter the entire village. Wait, save my bro. I bet. But we still want you
He
to
said,
take
all
care
right.
of everything.
He said, all right, so you two will live.
Only you two. You gotta leave. We'll shelter this young Uchiha, and it won't be a problem. And oddly enough, like I guess there's people who just give him like pity for just being like the only Uchiha in the village at that time. But otherwise, he wasn't as well. There's similarities in like how he's ostracized and Naruto's ostracized, but with Naruto, it's straight up hatred, and with Sasuke, it's just straight up like there's
He's
not.
so cool.
It's hard with Sasuke. I had to like reread it again, but essentially, like there's just like an isolation that he kind of puts it within like everybody else because everyone's different from him, and not even like the superior way, just because he's just Unuchiha, and there's no one else in his clan to like share bonds with at that point. He does carry a
There's no
lot of
one
trauma,
left,
so there's also that too.
which is also a part of being an Uchiha.
Yeah, I guess that didn't help either. Damn, dude, cannot
Considering that's how
win.
you unlock like literally their biggest technique.
Yeah, their technique powered by other emotions, but you never know. You never find out about that.
Until something horrible happens.
I don't know. Like, I think that it is obviously driven by like some extreme stuff, but I don't think them in and of themselves are like purely innately evil. But it's just the fact that like the people, the main representatives of the clan, are specifically
But no,
passionate
they
about
aren't.
that.
They aren't. I'm just saying terrible happens as in terrible trauma happens, and that's when
Oh
their powers are
yeah,
actually unlocked.
yeah. It's unfortunate that's the prerequisite. Like,
Trauma.
yeah. Like what was it with Sarda? Like the fact that like she's so confused. Like this is where she like unlocks her like third Tomoe like in her eye.
Wasn't it because she? I thought it was because she like found out about what the Uchiha, about the history of the Uchihas.
Uh, she did. Yeah, she did kind of unlock that. I forget exactly. I think it was because of her feelings towards her dad. Like she was in a situation where like she wanted to see him so badly because she never gets to see him, and that's where she unlocks the Sharingan. But it was only I think it was only one Tomoe or something like that, and I think she gets like the
Just like
second
the very
one.
start.
Yeah, either one or two of them. But
I'm assuming when you say that it's like with the Sharingan, isn't it usually like the? I'm assuming what you're saying is like one of the little
yeah,
because
it's
there.
like the teardrops around like
Yep,
the
that's
eye.
what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah, yeah.
I'm assuming at the first stage it's just one, then two, then three.
Yeah, it was weird because the way that they showed that off in the beginning of Naruto was that Sasuke awakens it with two of them. I think Sarada wakes in with one, but I'm not sure like if there's correlation there or there's just inconsistency. But essentially, she unlocks
It's the
the other
level of
one.
traumatized you are.
Yeah, but it's interesting because Sasuke does earn his like third one after having like a bit of conversations with Naruto at the Valley of the End. So it's like, I guess it's not always like trauma per se, but it's also like
Sometimes it's
acceptance.
acceptance and healing.
Yeah,
It's all
and
these
still he
cycles of
went
emotions.
forward with it. Listen, Naruto, I
It
get you. You even help me see clearly now. I still gotta go.
Come back to the village, Sasuke.
Yeah, no, that's Cap. What?
Oh, that's Cap. Come back to the village.
Whatever you need to do, Sasuke, you can get stronger at the village. He's like, nah, that's Cap. I gotta go with Orochimaru on this one.
Nah, nah.
I always found it so funny that Orochimaru does come back to the village. I think it's further like it's more of a comedy like during the whole wedding for Naruto and Hinata where he shows up. It's like Naruto, Hinata, congratulations. He's obviously like the
It,
biggest bad dude for a while.
I don't know. It's like, oh, play this guy again.
Yeah, yeah. His situation is really weird, but I mean, hey, as long as he's not causing trouble, then I guess he's kind of welcome. There was there's a filler episode in Boruto where like uh the the anime canon squad goes up to Orochimaru's hideout, and Yamato's there. Obviously, Yamato is always supposed to keep an eye on this dude. He gets the short end of the stick for that, but at this time, like Konoha is like very well technologically advanced. Although that's always been a question. TVs, movies, whole ships. But in Boruto's verse, like there's obviously like gaming handhelds and a little bit more technology on that side. But they got trading cards, and one of them's Orochimaru, and the kids just want his autograph. He eventually signs it, but it's such a weird like conversations like this is what's happened. I caused so much damage to like the Leaf Village, and you all have all the right to call me a villain, but I'm on your trading card and they want me to sign it. All right. It's always been such a little funny like bit about that. They never really go forward with that. What's interesting, I think it's actually the card game is actually part of like the canon actually in all of it because one of the kids is just really big on like the card games, and I think that pushes forward like a I guess for lack of better words a canon event. Not to get that confused with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but yeah, a canon event. Oh, and speaking of
Sorry
Spider-Man,
about that. Sorry about that. Had to restart the computer real quick.
yeah. I guess yeah, as we kind of get to the closing, I guess the only thing I really want to acknowledge is the fact that like in October, a lot of stuff's happening, and we're finally like out of the month. I say finally, but it feels like it's been like quite a while just being in the month of September, but not too much time. Obviously, a lot of big games are showing up in October. We got what was it, Mario Wonder? We got Spider-Man. We got others. I'll have to like actually look it up. Phil would be great to like just splurge on everything, but I think what's going on, he kind of told us about this, so this might be a heads up, but he may not be able to show up for podcasts in the month of October because that man's busy. October's got like,
Understandable.
yeah, it's wild that like a whole month can be like super busy for somebody, but yeah, that's totally understandable. So he'll join us whenever he can, and then we'll have a lot of catching up to do on that front. I was talking about games here and there, but I guess I should also talk about this. A beloved franchise, Persona, actually, recently had I guess a collaboration with Limited Run Games to release limited copies of Persona 3 Portable. And next month, they'll actually do the same thing with Persona 4 Golden. Limited Run pretty much likes to just give you like the physical copy, but as well as just give you a splurge of other merchandise, different collection editions too. So if anyone was curious about that, definitely just jump in on that. They have the pre-orders up until like November or something. I was kind of tempted with their because they're also collaborating with uh it's gonna be funny when I say it like out of context, but they're collaborating with Cracked. But Cracked is the ones behind the Nitro deck. It's pretty much just a Nintendo Switch. I guess there's a better way to describe it, but essentially it's a whole docking unit that can support like a Nintendo Switch or Switch OLED's like main console slided in there, and it has its own like powered buttons and sticks. The sticks are Hall effect joysticks, so you don't have to worry about like any type of drift later on. But it's also just a main housing unit that just kind of helps with the weight distribution. But the way it tied it in, they tied it in with it because they had an initial launch collaboration with different colors and whatnot. But they have one also for Persona 3 Portable specifically, and there's like 1,000 like copies that they're gonna make, and they probably won't make that ever again. So, anyone's curious about that, I was almost tempted, but I also kind of like the nostalgic GameCube color scheme, which is just like a kind of like indigo, like purplish type of thing. So if anyone's curious about that, definitely check that out. But I think that's kind of it. Yeah, yeah. I think we're good. Mark, is there anything else we can do or talk about before we go ahead and call it here?
I think we've gone over pretty much everything we could think of at the moment.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just shocked that I was able to kind of like sit through the entire podcast, both like listening and also talking without like suffering the side effects. Um, But yeah, I'll take the dub, and we'll go ahead and call it here, guys. Appreciate everyone for tuning in for this short podcast. This has been DangIT Prodcast, episode 475. My name is Justin,
Mark.
and thanks for watching, everybody. Hashtag bye, everyone.